Hey guys, welcome to Ballston Common. Ballston Common began life as Parkington back in 1956, and in 1986 was reborn as Ballston Common. So let's take a look, shall we? Alright, the first thing we see there is the code of conduct. That's right at the front of the mall. Those are the doors where I came in. That is Noodles and Company, or it was. Everything with the exception of Macy's was. When I came in here, everything was closed, of course. The mall had closed. That was me walking inside Noodles and Company. I didn't go in far because there were security guards around. If there weren't, I would have walked all the way in. That covers up an escalator that goes down to the food court. And I am very confident that I will be showing you as much of the food court as I can from that vantage point because it covers the escalator. You can't go down. That is Noodles and Company. And there over the banister, just like I thought I did, there was the food court. The chairs are still there. Everything is still there. The only thing that was gone when I got down there the week before were the old TVs that had been there since 1986. You can imagine what those must have looked like. They never changed them. The only thing that stayed down there the whole time was McDonald's and Subway. Everything else changed over the years. But McDonald's and Subway stayed. There were pictures on that wall. This was, I believe, an AT&T phone kiosk at the end. I don't know what it was to begin with, but I think that's what it was then. If not AT&T, it wasn't. It was T-Mobile. I'm sorry, that was T-Mobile. That has been closed so long I don't remember what it was. That was a jewelry store of absolutely no note. Most things in here were not of any note at the time of closing. It was basically just mom and pop stuff. Let's see, swinging over here to the right, that was Panera Bread. That's definitely of some note. That Panera was really, really good. I used to go there from time to time. This was kind of my hangout when I was a kid. I came on the first day it opened, and I was there on the day it closed. Isn't that tidy? I don't remember what that was on the right, by the way. This is Macy's. Macy's, that sign right there that you're seeing, shows you it'll stay open through the renovation when it becomes Ballston Quarter, which it will do by next year. So all of 2017, they'll be renovating it until it becomes Ballston Quarter in 2018. That is Curious Kids Toys. Of course, they had just closed. They were still cleaning their stuff out on this day. I'm actually doing this voiceover about 2 months after I was in there. I was in there on June the 4th, it says. And I'm doing this on the 9th of October. Total Party, as you can see, they moved to Crystal City and they're open by now. This is Starbucks, or as we lovingly like to refer to it, $4. And that was always jumping. It's pretty much one of the only things in the mall that was always jumping. At the time of closing, there wasn't much going on in here. Let's see, where am I going? I'm going toward Cold Stone Creamery. Loved this place. You can tell because I was chilling there for a second. Okay, we're going down the back hallway. There's signage for what's coming. Ballston Quarter. It's everywhere. Total Party, of course, the side of Total Party. And there's somebody probably lamenting the fact that he missed the really good sale that was going on in there. Or he's probably doing what I was doing, who knows. This is Total Fright. Now, before it was Total Fright, the first thing it was B. Dalton. When I went in there, I have a picture of it somewhere. They took the sign down off. You could still see the B. Dalton Labs label scar. That was a shoe repair place that we passed. I'm going faster than I can talk for whatever reason. This was a bunch of food places back here, or bars really is what it was. This began as Macaroni Grill and became Union Jack. And it was Union Jack's at the time of death, for lack of a better term. This was Rock Bottom. You can still see the label scar there, where they'd just taken the letters down. It was Rock Bottom for a long time. It didn't start out as that. I don't remember what it was when it started out. It was... we're talking 30 years ago. The place pretty much closed on its 30th anniversary. Isn't that tidy? That's kind of cool. And there's like businesses back through here or back through there. So we're going back the way we came. That was a tailor at the end of its life. I don't remember what it started out as. It's just been too long. It was probably a few things. Many of these storefronts kind of flipped and changed over time. It's another thing I don't remember what was. I was obviously trying to figure it out because I slowed down and I couldn't do it. Ballston Quarter stuff all over the place. You can kind of see what they're going for. As of this recording, they've already started to rip down the back end of the building, which we'll be going into soon. There's the jewelry store again. I am taking my sweet time, aren't I? All right. Yeah, I didn't remember what this was. I still don't. I think it was another jewelry store. I think, but I can't recall. There, of course, is the escalator, and I'm probably and let's see if I go up it. No, I'm not going up it. This was a T-Mobile store, so I was wrong about what that kiosk was. I'm so sorry. But that was a T-Mobile store at the time of death. I don't remember what this was. This is Ballston Quarter literature. But there was a store back there, and I can't recall what it was. This was like a soup place right here. Like a mom and pop soup place. A lot of this stuff was very mom and pop, like I said, you know. The mall was not in good shape when it closed. It was really underattended, and nobody really cared about it, and no one came, and so I'll miss it, but it was time. This was Odua Images, but that's not what it started out as. I believe it was another jewelry store at the time it opened, and it just became a mom and pop thing. Down the hall we go. What was that? That was an Evita Aesthetic, if I'm not mistaken, but it was obviously nothing at the time of closure. That is a GameStop, or it was, and that's of course gone. Everything's gone. Why am I saying that? Obviously GNC. There's the lettering for it. You can see that. There's CVS. That began as People's, same company. When the mall opened, it's been there the whole time. One of the few things that was. Where that GameStop was, it was a B. Dalton Software, etc. when it opened. I used to go there all the time and get games and software and stuff because I was a geek. Okay, so we're going back in. Oh, no, we're not. That's Express Jewelers, and that was a barber shop at the time of close. When it opened, it was a Record World, and I used to go there all the time for cassettes and things. So we're going back into a section now that has just been torn down, so none of this is there anymore. It's actually walled off. That's a Capital One bank. That bank is now out with an outside entrance. It's still there. This was Bailey's, which was a pub, i.e. it was nothing more than a bar. And it stayed open till like 2 in the morning. But that's been gone for a long, long time. I think that closed maybe 7 years or so. Yeah, see, Bailey's. But that closed maybe at 2 a.m. I even got that right. I know my stuff. But that closed that closed years before the mall actually closed. Because I guess it wasn't making any money. I don't know. They've been threatening to close it for a while. I don't remember what this was. I kept trying to... I'd go by it and look, and I can't remember. I simply can't recall what it was. It was obviously another restaurant of some sort. But you could actually even look through the slats of the old one, of that one on the other side, which I'm not looking at the moment. There's the code of conduct again. Why I felt it necessary to look at that twice, I don't know. But that was the other entrance that you could get in. That's an ad for Regal Cinemas, as you can see. I was really thorough. And this was that other restaurant that I was talking about that I don't know what it is. You couldn't look in anywhere because it's completely painted. The windows were painted. Again, all of this is now gone. It's already been torn down. It wasn't Bloom's Grill. I don't know why I showed you that. Because it was there. Who knows? Okay, now we're getting to things that are somewhat... No, we're not. We're still in the area that's gone. The bank is right there on the right side. And we're about to hit up the CVS again. Okay, there's the CVS, of course. We're about to head upstairs. We're upstairs. Look at that. That's the back end of the second floor. It's Woodmont Weavers. They had weird hours. They were never open when I was there. I never saw a single human being in there. It's obviously a church thing. St. Coletta, I guess it's Catholic, I don't know. That was a Macy's furniture gallery, and it began life as JCPenney. But hadn't been JCPenney in probably over a decade by then. That's actually now all gone. They've cut the furniture gallery out. They cut that down, and they're making room for apartments. So that's the last time we see that. There's the very cool Ballston logo. A friend of mine said, so bossy, you know. Shop, dine, live, darn it. I don't remember what this was. It's just been too long. Please forgive me, as I cannot recall. This was a clothing... No, it was an eye place. It was another eye place, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what it was. Either way, love the parquet flooring. This was As Seen on TV. This was its first location. It actually moved fairly close to the time that the mall itself was shutting down. But that's where it was. And it's a cool little tchotchke shop. This was Bath & Body Works. They were still trying to get themselves out of there at this point, but they were mostly done. Let's see. This was Brazilian boosting jeans. Go figure. Surely you can see the incredulousness on my face as I say that, but that's what it was. It was a mom and pop thing, and I never saw anybody in there, but hopefully they did okay. I don't remember what that was. This was As Seen on TV. This is where it ended up at the very end. They just moved closer because there was nothing going on but the rent down there on that end of the mall. This was FYE, and they stayed open till the very end. They were open till just about the bitter end. So, and they had nothing. It was just pointless. And the prices weren't amazing, and just, that's okay. I've never been a fan of FYE. This was you could actually make tattoos out of eyeliner at that kiosk over there. I think this was Fornash, which is a gallery. Actually, it's telling you what it was, but unfortunately, from my vantage point, I'm not able to see. Fornash, that's what it was. I saw people going in and out of there taking stuff out on this day. Over there was the elevator that would get you down to the food court. Am I going over to it? I am. It's like I can just sense me or something. What chemistry I have with me, right? But that's what's happening. That's what happened there. That was the elevator that went down to the food court. That had cell phones. That was a Verizon thing. A little Verizon kiosk. See? Told you. I'm such a jerk. All right. This was Foot Locker. This is not where Foot Locker began, but this is where it ended. I forget where it was to begin with, honestly. It's just been too many years. But I used to go in there sometimes. They had cool stuff. This was a watch place. As you can see I think you can see the cases are in. They're still in there. No, they're not now. They're gone now, but they were in there. This is Macy's again, of course. That was an eye care place right there. Are you loving the carpeting? I was loving the carpeting. That eye care place had been closed far longer than the mall had. That was Champs. Champs actually began in the center, and it moved later on. I actually worked at that Champs a little bit many, many, many years ago. But this is where Champs ended up. So there's the side of it. They had multiple entrances into the store. It was a bigger space. And given all the product they had, they probably needed it. This was Hair Cuttery. They moved themselves elsewhere, but there's tons of those. You could swat them like flies. They're everywhere. And this was more or less just kind of a place where people just chilled, because there was nothing going on back here, really. Not even the rent. And those same things there with the Smurfs and the other thing those had been there for years. They were just never taken out. This is the back of Fornash. I think Fornash had more than one space. Like they had taken like 3 store spaces to become that deep. But there used to be other businesses that would face out from there, if I'm not mistaken. Although I could be mistaken. It's been a long time. That was a jewelry place. There were lots of jewelry places. They had a jewelry complex at Ballston Commons for whatever reason. Now look at that. I can see I'm getting to the end of the second floor, so I'm about to go upstairs. Pardon me, won't you? All right, up the escalator we go to the 3rd floor. where nothing was happening except for the Sport and Health Club on the left side. Okay, this is like a suit plate. Oh, I'm pointing you towards the Sport and Health Club, which is still open. It's one of the few things that remains. This was a clothing store. It had suits and things. It wasn't bad. This is a massage place that stayed open till the bitter end. See? Refresh massage. See, I told you. Now, this place was weird. I don't know what was going on in there. International Bazaar and Shavers and more. I never saw anybody in there. And look at it. It's a disaster. I have no idea who owned it. I never saw the guy in there who owned it. I'm assuming it was a guy. I don't know. But whoever it was, I just hope he's okay. Because it was like he was a pack rat. You couldn't go in there. It was never open. It just one of the more bizarre things I saw. The most bizarre thing in that mall. One of the more bizarre things I've ever seen. So it's just so weird. I don't know what that was. If anybody knows what was going on in Shavers and more, comment. I'm really curious. And I hope he's okay. This was a suit place. I bought a couple of suits from there and they were terrible. And they closed before the mall did, I think like a year before. This is fascinating to me because I can't remember what this was. On maybe a month and a half to 2 months later, the door was open, but it was dark in there. And I did step in there, but you couldn't see anything. And I'd even turn on my flashlight. See, I can't tell what it was. If you know what this was, say something in the comment section, darn it, because I really wish I knew. And of course, now you can't go back there anymore. You see, I'm really trying here. I don't know what it was, and it's driving me mad. Mad, I tell you. See, I don't remember what it was. Whatever it was this when it opened and nothing else ever. This is JCPenney. It was JCPenney. It was the Macy's Furniture Gallery at the end and was closed many years, actually. The company that's going to create Ballston Quarter actually bought that corner a long time ago and didn't do anything with it. It's been years. This is Sport and Health Club. This will stay completely open during the process. I've got a very good friend who goes in there, and he, dutifully goes in there and works out. So it's still going to be open. It basically takes up the right side of the third floor. It's very, very big. I'm sure they were very grateful to get them in there as tenants because there was nothing going on in there prior to Sport and Health Clubs moving in there. Look at all the fresh trash. Can you tell that they just didn't care anymore? Because they didn't. By this point, it didn't matter. But it had been like that for a couple of years before. I mean, you just got the sense that nobody cared anymore in there. It just... ordinarily, it's hard to say goodbye to certain things, but I mean, it's still somewhat difficult, but not as difficult as it might be otherwise, because there was just nothing going on in there, Such a shame. It went out with a whimper, Ballston did, Another kiosk that didn't have anything in it for a long time before they left. I don't remember what this was. It had been too many years. There's the escalator again. There's people going by that are probably just leaving what you will see to the left. Let's see if I'm turning there. Why am I focused on that pole? I have no idea. There's Regal Cinema. I don't remember what that was prior. I think it was just other shops. But that'll stay open the entire time. This, as you can see, was the Framing Club. I went in there. They were actually really good. They were really nice people, and they were great. They've moved out to Fair Oaks, which is all the way in Fairfax. I wish they were closer, because I really like doing business with them. I got a couple of really great things from them, and they framed something for me, which I still use all the time. So they're a really good place. Darn it, I will miss them. See, and they had like it got bad enough that they had like a basket outside they just said, just take it, and there were a few things left, and people did take them, but that no one ever took. It stayed there forever, just forever, and everything in there just stayed. They just didn't bother with it. I don't know why. They could have taken those things, and they didn't. This was another watch place. but it hadn't been in a long, long time. Or no, it was a sunglass place. I'm sorry, it was a sunglass place. Watch place was underneath. This, of course, is Macy's. That right in front of us began life as a record town. I know all the record stores because I'm like that. I used to go into it. And then it was a 24-hour printing place. And now, of course, nada. And hadn't been the printing place in quite some time. It had been a couple of years it had been closed. But they never changed the inside of it. So it was always just, you know, it always had the hardware from Record Town inside of it. This was an arcade right there on my right. And they had machines in it and everything. It was fun. It was called Tilt, but long since closed. But closed maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 months before the mall itself closed. So this was, it had like a church thing, a church services met in there, and then a comedy club too. I don't remember what it was, but it obviously you can see that the church moved elsewhere. So I think it moved to a school or something. I don't remember. See, it was the comedy spot too. It was that for, gee, I don't even remember how many years. Long, long time. And nobody's looking at me funny for carrying a camera. They should be. I could be anyone. I'm not anyone though. I'm just plain old Ed. Down the escalator I go. Let's see, where am I going? This is the disadvantage of doing this so many months later. I don't remember how this ends. Let's see. Oh, we're just about down to the end here. Okay, I just decided to relax, I guess. But there we are. We are on the center floor again, seeing stuff you've already seen. And I'm on the way down the stairs. So thank you so much for watching this. If you liked it, say that you did, darn it. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Share it with your friends. For anybody who was ever interested in Ballston, this is kind of a cool thing. But this is Ed, and I am gone.